So, what are your passions besides your job? Like, what do you like to do, or what do you like to work on? Do you have any crafts?
Now you know the answer to that.
No, I don't.
Absolutely not. I just have my dogs and we sleep and eat.
But you don't feel like you should have like a second passion or something like that?
I probably should, but I don't. My passion is napping and getting fat.
Yeah, you would
I know. I always think about what is this something that I'd be good at. All of my friends have businesses and something they're like good at. Like one of my best friends, Shayna, she does makeup and she also like does flowers for any type of like wedding or baby showers. My other friend, Michaela, she makes these cute little mats, like these doormats. They're custom. I can't think of everybody. They have a lot of stuff that they do. One of my best friends is a baker, but I have no skills.
All right. So I always feel like with people like you and me, it's like you need somebody outside looking in to be like, these are what your skills are. And I personally feel like your skills are not like I know too much, but I feel like we're good at planning with your friends. And I feel like you're good at showing up.
Yeah.
Like you remind me of my sister in the fact that it's like I know I can call you.
That's true.
And I know that's your MO with any of your friends. That's your personality type. And a lot of times in businesses, you need somebody that's like that to hold the glue together, to make everybody accountable. And you have that personality. And I don't feel like you're afraid to say your mind either. And nowadays, a lot of people want to hear from a woman and get your point of view on certain situations. So for me, I kind of felt like when I was just doing my job over and over again, I just felt kind of drained because one, I knew it wasn't my passion, and I felt like literally a hoe working for somebody else. It was like, I'm blood, sweat, and tears, breaking my back, coming home, might indulge in some extra activities, here and there. But after a while, I was just like, I'm not feeling fulfilled. Like, what's going on? And it sometimes it depends on who you're around as well. Like I told you, my friend just moved out here. I got other friends out here who's in the content game. And me just seeing what they're doing and like the drive that they have, it makes me be like I have way more energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like before you even got here, like you posted on Facebook, like yo, it's struggling for me to get out here. And I appreciate you getting out here because
you saw that.
No, I seen that because honestly, like when I got off of work today, I was just like, yo, I don't think I can do this podcast today. Like I was just that tired from work. But Patrick sent me something where it was just like, get up off your ass. Like, go get to work. You have a dream, go get it. And you do need your rest, but I realize you always do have a little bit extra in the tank for yourself.
Correct.
And you should have some extra in the tank for yourself.
And another thing, something that I always try to remember, if you fit in all the small things, you'll never have time for the big things. But if you do all the big things first, you'll find time to get those little small things in. Like, get in a nap. You'll find a place to put a nap in there.
Like you was telling me about about my whole job search and everything like that. And I told you I want to kind of focus on this podcast thing, get a few episodes up and get an actual
like
flow.
Following?
Get a flow. I mean, also a following like that's granted, but I want to get to a point where it's like a machine. And I feel like it's not a machine yet. Like I can't just let it run. It's just
part of your life. You just got to do it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm at the point where it's like I'm building up the process. I'm learning so much. I'm learning how to schedule content. That saved me a lot of time because before I would be like up before work, after work, trying to cut up videos, and trying to post it. You know what I'm saying?
Like it was never like, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so I'm just all over the place. But like now that I found out I can schedule things, I just pick one day. I might just go balls to the wall when it comes to my work that day, and then other days I wouldn't say chill, but it gives me time to kind of recover and recover in a way. I'm happy that I wouldn't say restarted my podcast, but I rebranded it. Yeah, because before, there were so many things where it was just like, I know I'm doing it wrong. And I took a few months to really research what I wanted to do. And let me put my phone on silent.
Mine is already on silent.
It takes me forever to even learn how to work an iPhone. But one of my other homegirls sent me a interview this past week. And it was pretty much Kevin Hart getting interviewed. And he was speaking about pretty much like the issues he had like come kind of growing up, about how he never was the person he was today. He said when he was a kid and a teenager, he was a person that used to cut corners. He wasn't a person that was going to work hard or wake up early to get things done. Like he felt like, oh, I have a way with my words, so I could kind of tell my teacher I did my homework and they'll believe me. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, I would cut corners and I wouldn't do things the right way. But he said it took me a while to realize, like, yo, I bullshitted most of my life. Like, it's time for me to put the work in. He was like, I feel like I should be on these stages with these different comedians. I feel like I'm funnier than different people. I feel like I could do more. So he said it's time for me to finally put the work in. And he said what I started to do is I started to take classes on things that will help me and what I wanted to be. He said I wanted to be a comedian, but he said I felt like I knew that will lead to movies in the future.
Right.
So he said when I started doing my comedian thing, I was taking acting classes. He said I had to pay extra for the acting classes because he was like, I used to get nervous in front of crowds. So I used to pay for the one-on-one lessons. But he said I wanted to make sure I was ready for the opportunity because a lot of times people aren't ready for opportunity. And when he was saying that, I was just like, damn, am I really practicing my craft? Like, am I really looking up how to interview, how to be engaging with people? Like, I'm going on a tangent right now, but my sister told me like the other day, she was like, she feels like I talk too much in my podcast. Not saying like, pretty much saying like, I feel like you talk more than your guest does. And I was telling her, I said, well, it really depends on the guest, the guest is. And I took it before Trav would have been kind of like, all right, like she kind of hating, you know what I'm saying? But it
was correct. What do you call it?
Criticism, like corrective criticism. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you know, I thought she was like, I thought she was hating, but you know, I had to take a look back because I had friends who pulled me to side. They was just like, yo, we don't want to hear your guests. We want to hear more about your stories, and your life. So for me, I had to find a happy medium to please everybody.
Correct.
Because like she grew up with me, so she already know my story. She I talked to her about all my issues. So
I'm sick of hearing this.
You know what I'm saying? So she probably watching it like, all right, come on, get to some good stuff. But this past week, I really delved into like my craft, and I want to keep doing it because honestly, there's so many times I'll just be idle, just like sitting around not doing nothing, watching like podcasts of other people when I can really just be learning how to grow within. And you can learn from others, but I can take speech classes. I can watch my old episodes and find things that I don't like. Like I don't like the fact that I say like a lot.
I've noticed that with myself lately too. I say that all the time, and I'm very like.
I say it's like, and I hate the fact because when I watch like YouTube videos of me, I be cringing every time I say it, and I'm like, all right, when I talk now, I try to go a little bit slower so I can fill in the right words.
Yeah, that's all it is a filler word. Like, you should look into Toastmasters.
What's that about?
It's like a speech class it is a speech class that teaches you how to not use fillers, how to slow down, how to do presentations. Usually you do it through your company, but I don't know. I'm sure you could probably just do it on your own too, but it's called Toastmasters.
Is it free? Is it?
No, you got to pay for it. Even when I did it at work,
is it a one-time payment or is it like a reoccurring?
At work, it was reoccurring, but I know they paid a portion of it. I don't know what it's like outside of that, but I mean, just something to look into.
I'm gonna look into it because honestly, I have to put my money towards things that will benefit me in my future. Right. You know me. I put money into so much wasteful shit, and it's time to the point where it's like,
don't we all?
I mean, we do, but I feel like you get to a certain age where you're just like, all right, it's time for me to be an adult. And I feel like for women, I feel like y'all get to that point a little bit more sooner than men do. Like y'all might get it to like y'all mid-20s where you're like, all right, let me get my shit together. Let me get my furniture. Let me get this car. Let me get everything in order. And it takes some men, I would say I'm in that generalization, a little bit longer to be like, all right, let me finally grow up a little bit. Like with the furniture, let me finally grow up a little bit. Let me finally get some real furniture. Let me level up a little. Damn, okay. But I said, let me grow up. I said, let me grow up a little bit to the point where it's like, all right, Traven, you're doing like you. I know you're happy with the bare minimum, but you want your friends over, right? You want to be, you want to have girls over. I'm saying you want to have girls over, right?
And we judge y'all when we come to y'all's house.
But you already told me that You mess with niggas on how you don't even have any damn furniture in their bedroom.
Who said that?
You said that. It was a couple years ago.
Memory.
I remember when you and somebody else came over here. Y'all went to my room. You was like, oh, you got 2 matching dressers? Oh, no guys be having that. I'm like, what guys y'all be messing with?
I don't remember that. That wasn't me. Maybe I said men have that, but I ain't never dealt with nobody who didn't have furniture.
I think more so you were talking about the dressers, more so than the furniture.
I can't remember.
Well, I mean, it was about 2 years ago.
I mean, I know guys that don't have headboards. That's
a whole nother story, yo. That's a whole. I'm not having this story again with the headboards, because my sister, other girls be saying you don't got a headboard. I'm like, what is a headboard for besides making noise?
It's part
of decoration, furniture.
Yes, it's part of completeness.
It's not needed though.
So you just buy a frame and no headboard. Headboards are really cheap.
I understand that, but I'm just saying for me, it's not work. It's not needed in my life right now. If I incorporate somebody else in my life and they want you want me to get a headboard and stuff like that.
No, if you incorporate somebody else in your life, you're gonna have a headboard. You're gonna have.
I have never had any complaints. Never had.
If you have a woman living with you, she's gonna redecorate everything.
And I'm a letter.
That's what I'm saying. So she's gonna let you get she's gonna make you get a headboard.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. I mean, I agree with you on that. I thought you were talking about casually. Casually, I don't care. No. Casually, I don't even give a fuck.
Casually, I'm not gonna invest no time in no man's decor. You figure that out on your own.
So you ain't never just be like, actually. I feel like sometimes, even if you're not gonna take it to that level, sometimes some women do want to give guys advice like, hey, like I think you should get this if you really want to deal with these type of women, kind of thing.
Well, the last time I tried to help a guy do his house, I don't remember what happened. I just kind of just got over it. So he texted me one time. I was like, oh, look, I got this, because I was kind of telling him what to pick. And then I just never responded after that. So I never went over there. I don't know what his house looked like. But, I remember telling him he has similar colors to you because I told him to do navy and gold. So I know that part. But I just don't know what happened to that.
Okay. What's good, y'all? It's your boy TravTheRealist, Real Ass Conversations. This is episode number 50. I got one of my close friends here.
Hey, I'm Kanisha.
I don't know whether she wanted me to drop her tag underneath, but if she does, I will drop it by the end of the video. Yes, no?
Yeah, I don't know. What is it? My Instagram?
I'll drop you. Okay. I feel like you always be forgetting your Instagram, but I'll make sure it's underneath you when it comes through. But
I'm old, y'all. Forgive me.
She is not old. She's under 30.
I'm not under 30. I am 30.
When's your birthday?
November 29, 92. I just turned 30.
Yeah, you was kind of old. Anyway. But this is the week of the lovers. This is Valentine's Day week. I didn't have any Valentine's Day. I was at work. I came home. I went to sleep. Either. But my friend over here did have a date. And I kind of want to see what happened during that date and how it ended. So can you kind of explain to us your Valentine's Day?
Okay, let me start by saying I didn't want to go on this date at all. Okay.
So why go on it?
Because he's a really nice guy. And my friend said, if you don't go, you'll never know what can happen. And I've talked to this guy in the past, and he was really sweet. Don't get me wrong. He would be the great husband for somebody, just not me. So he asked me to go with him on Valentine's Day the week before. And I told him, you're not going to be able to get a reservation. He said, don't worry about it. Be ready by 7. Okay. So then he texted me later that week and said he couldn't get a reservation. I was right. Well, he didn't say he couldn't get a reservation. He said he was trying to take me to a fancy restaurant, he said, but all the restaurants he called were booked. So he said, I can take you to Ocean Prime like Monday or Wednesday. I said, no, I can't do those days. He says, okay, well, we're going to go to this sushi restaurant on Valentine's Day. And it was a nicer restaurant. It's in this hotel downtown. It's like up on the 49th floor. It's supposedly really nice. I don't know because I didn't get to go. So the day of Valentine's Day, he didn't follow up with me. And I'm the type of, you don't follow up with me, I'm not getting ready.
You think it's canceled?
It is canceled. I'm not about to waste my time getting ready. And second, I really didn't want to go on this date, period. So I was like, if he don't follow up with me, I'm not saying nothing. Well, at 6 o'clock, he texted me and said, I'm on something about, I'll see you in an hour, yada, yada, yada. And I said, well, I'm not ready. And then I felt bad because he sent me $50 and said, well, I understand if you're not ready. Just have dinner and drinks on me tonight. And so then I felt bad. I was like, you know what? Let me just, I live.
Come on. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish.
I live downtown. Mm-hmm. So it's not I was like, you know what? I can throw in something really quick and be up there. And he lives in Fort Worth. So that's far. Okay.
That is pretty far.
It is far. It's like, especially in rush hour traffic, it's going to take over an hour. So I ended up Ubering there. I was like, I'll just meet you there. I Ubered there and I got there on time. He was late and I was fine with that because I mean, it was traffic. I get there at 7 and I text him. I said, well, did you already set the reservation? Because if so, I'll just go up there so we don't lose the table. He gonna tell me he don't have a reservation because it's open seating. And I was mad instantly.
On Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Yes. Instantly I was mad because I was like, I could have stayed home and used his $50 to order me some food. It's still been in my pajamas.
You should have. Shit.
Well, so he gets there. We go upstairs and I'm already irritated. And of course, there's no seating for us. So he says, well, there's another bar. No, I'm going home. No, it's Valentine's Day. We're not going to get in anywhere. I'm going home. So we go downstairs and we're waiting for the Uber. Well, I called an Uber back. I didn't even let him take me home. I'm getting an Uber. So we're talking and he starts going into, well, he wants us to rekindle what we had in the past. And I felt really bad because I know he intended for me to have a good night. And you know, when somebody's really nice to you, you feel bad being irritated with them. And that's how I felt.
But my thing is he was being nice, but he also was messing up.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
And I feel like that's kind of frustrating at this age. Because it's like we grown now. Like you should know that on Valentine's Day
you need a reservation.
Like if there's 2 days I know you need a reservation for it, Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. Because them food places are going to be packed.
Now you know I'll give him a pass on this. He's from Mississippi. So I'm sure wherever he's from in Mississippi, he didn't need reservations for anything. Mm-hmm. But you live in the city now, sir. You got to have reservations. It didn't work out. He starts telling me, well, I have flowers for you in the car. I guess we'll do this another night.
So
we will not.
Did you like the flowers?
Oh, I didn't get them.
Why?
Because my Uber was there. Oh, my God. If he wanted me to get flowers, he should have brought them in the building with us and given to me then.
Or why he didn't pick you up and take you?
He could have, but as I mentioned, he was running late, so I just met him there. You remember?
No, I understand, but I'm saying like if I was him, I would have been like, hey, I will pick you up.
Yes, he could have done that. He could have done that. But yeah, that was it. Never again. Never again will I go on a date that I don't want to go on. Okay.
So before we get too deep in this, I need to know this. This is what I need to know.
Oh, I kept his $50 and ordered dinner, by the way.
What about him just doesn't work for you? Because I feel like there's always just one thing. It could be like a million yeses and one no. And that one no could be so strong that you just be like, I don't want to mess with this guy. So what is that one thing where you're just like, you know what? This is what kills the whole mood.
Oh my goodness. I hope he never hears this. Let me first by saying the good of him. Okay. Can I start with that? What's good about him?
Of course.
He's amazing. Like I said, he'll be a great husband for somebody. When I was talking to him, I never had to do anything. I never paid for anything, opened a door. My car stayed full with gas. I never had to pump my own gas, pay for my own gas, nothing like that. Like he really took care of me. He will be a great husband for someone. He does everything that I want the guy that I actually like to do. Okay. He spends time with me. He goes out of his way for me. He's always there. He makes sure I'm taken care of. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the good of him. The bad of him. Okay. So the first thing that started to be unattractive to me about him is that he's really country, but not country in a cute way. Like country that it almost comes off as not intelligent.
I can understand that, but I also have some friends who may have that jargon, but still is very intelligent. You know?
Yeah, it's not that I'm not saying he's not intelligent.
It's just that it's all kind of
it's not attractive to me. Okay.
Some women love accents. Like I know some Mississippi pimps out there now.
Yeah, it's some accents, and it's not even that. I don't know. I guess because I'm from Mississippi, it's hard to explain. It's not necessarily the accent. It's just like some of the things that the mannerisms and stuff that they do in the country. Not everybody who's from Mississippi is like that. Okay. But he's very much like that. Just wasn't attractive to me. And then the other thing was we had a conversation about careers, because you know how I am about my career. Now, granted, I did just take a a decrease for like mental health reasons, but I'm very much I'm always going to grow in my career. And he has a master's degree too. And I feel like this world is not necessarily for Black men, but still they have an upper hand than women, period. Like Black women and Black men y'all have an upper hand against us. And he wasn't about that life. Like he's not taking his career seriously. He told me that he wants to be an actor, and I'm like, you're too damn old. Get over it. You ain't gonna be no actor.
How old is he?
Older than me. I don't even know because I don't care anymore or remember. He's like 30 something. But you're not gonna be an actor. So I hope he never hears this because I feel so bad because he's really nice.
I doubt he will. But Steve Harvey ain't become successful until he's like 38.
Well, guess what? I'm not sticking around to see.
Okay, I understand. I feel like everybody has certain limits, and you reach your limit with that guy. But I also feel like you should have went out with him anyway. I
agree, but I was listening to my friends, and they said you never know what'll happen if you don't give him a chance. So I was trying to.
But to play devil's advocate, you talked to me. You said you want a good guy. You want him to do X. You want to do X, Y, and Z.
Agree. I want,
but it's just like every time you meet a good guy.
No, that's not every time. He's the only good guy I met.
You met another good guy before.
Recently, I met a
Not recently. I'm talking about you. Like we haven't talked a lot, but we didn't have a conversation where you have met some good guys and you were just like, no, either this was a reason I don't want to mess with him, or this was a reason. It's like I feel like when it comes to women, when you really like a guy, you would ignore all his flaws. Yeah. But when you don't like a guy, that one flaw, it could be just one flaw.
Everything he does,
you just take it out. Yeah, you just get annoyed so easily off of it.
That's true.
It's like, I don't like how you breathing. I don't like how you chewing. All of that.
That's true. Because the last guy that I just finished talking to, like this little situationship I was in, I ain't going to say he was a bad guy, but we just started having like these petty arguments. But I still really liked him. And I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but that other guy, we've never had an argument. Like he's a good guy for somebody else, not me.
Well, I hope he meets your lady out there.
I hope he does too. I wish it could be me. I really wish I could like him. I want to like him so bad, but I can't.
All right, so that's interesting. So you can't learn to love somebody?
My friend asked me the same thing earlier this week. I wish I could. I want to. I wish I could like him. Another problem is I'm not that attracted to him either.
I think that's the biggest out of all of it. I feel like if there's really no physical attraction, you're just kind of like, all right.
He's not ugly.
But he's just not what lights your fire pretty much.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what the biggest thing is. Maybe if I liked him or if I was attracted to him, I would maybe like him a little bit more. Because I've dated some country guys and I just think I don't like him. He's not attractive to me.
All right. So to piggyback off of the Valentine's Day conversation, I listen to the podcast, not even podcast, I listen to Breakfast Club, and they having different hosts on each week, and they had this one lady on, she's 49, and she was saying that every year she always leave it up to the man to pretty much do something for Valentine's Day, and she told this one guy who was a nice guy, hey, I want this, I want flowers, I want a nice like letter, X, Y, and Z. He did it all, and she said she was upset because he didn't pretty much finish the deal at the end of the night, like he didn't try to take it to the next level, sex. So she was saying, so the guys was like, so is it a bad Valentine's Day if you don't have sex at the end? And she was like, yeah, she thinks so. So I want to know what your opinion is.
Was he her husband?
No.
Well, then she shouldn't be having sex with him no way.
Stop it. Yo, don't do this. Not here. You is not waiting for your damn husband. Yo. We ain't doing that, yo. Wow.
I don't know. It just depends. If you like somebody, I guess you're going to want them to. But if you don't like somebody, you're like, go home. Bye.
Or I also think, why didn't she say what she wanted? You know what I'm saying? You already told her you wanted X, Y, and Z. I feel like at that age, women are more, I feel like now getting older, dating, women are way more upfront with what they want. When it comes to being sexual, when it comes to their needs outside of that, they let me know.
It depends. Like, if I actually want to get to know you and build a relationship with you, I'm probably not going to say that because sometimes it comes off as if, okay, that's all you want then, you know? So I probably wouldn't have brought that up.
I don't know. I feel like so many times when you date, it's just like the first few weeks, you're just so fake. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like, I don't want to say this because I don't want to off put them with that, or I don't want to seem too fast. When in reality, both parties want the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that to an extent. But again, if you start this conversation off with that, they're gonna think that's what it is, and you may not want that to be all of that what it is. So if you're wanting more, I wouldn't start with that up front.
Yeah, that's what I said. Not up front, but I feel like if it's naturally goes to that progression, let it flow.
Yeah.
So to go with let it flow, I had a homegirl on Facebook. She posted and she was like, I'm going to try speed dating for the first time. And I got interested because I was like, hey, what's speed dating? And she was like, hey, you pretty much go out to these different venues and it's like a bunch of tables and it's 5-minute dates at a piece at a time. And you may have 15 dates in one night. And she was saying she said it's kind of funny because she's like, they kind of set up at different times. She was like, it's like 6, 9, and 12. She's like, we go at midnight. You already know what's going to happen at midnight.
Yeah.
But she was just saying like, I want to give it a try. And I was like, I never really thought of doing that before, but I thought it maybe interesting. Would you ever consider speed dating?
Maybe after a few drinks. But
they have, I actually like started like looking into it. Well, they will have drinks and different things like that, but it's like, for me, I feel like it also would kind of be a little overload because what if you leave with 13 numbers?
Okay.
You got to have 13 conversations. Like for me, it's hard for me to have 2 at the same time.
You'll weed them out quick. I wouldn't just do it without alcohol because I have a hard time. I'm a little bit shy sometimes. I know nobody ever believes that, but I am shy when I meet new people. So I probably wouldn't have the best conversations up front, like in 5 minutes.
I think you will. I feel like you're the type of person, you just got to read their energy. I feel like you're real good at reading people's energies a lot of times.
Yeah.
And for me, like I said, I'm at a point where it's like in 5 minutes, you really got to leave an impression in them 5 minutes
exactly.
as well. So I don't know. I feel like it's interesting, but I feel like at this age, it's like, why not? We should go.
Okay.
We should find something in the area.
After I have some drinks.
Or there could be drinks there.
Okay. And I'll do it.
All right,
let's see what happens.
We'll try it out. We'll see what's going on.
Swiping online hasn't been beneficial for me, so.
I haven't been on any online dating apps. I've been too consumed with all of this.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get it to the point where I want some woman interaction, you know. So I feel like, but I want to start being that guy that actually goes out and approach women personally.
Yes, I wish
instead
I could
of
do
going
that.
online, because I feel like I've been real shy, but I feel like I'm getting out of that. You know, I'm starting to get to the point where it's just like, all right, like I know what I bring to the table.
Yeah,
I feel like I look handsome, so why not? Like, why not like approach a woman and just? I feel like that thing is so out the norm nowadays.
Yeah, and we want
really
that.
Impression.
We want that because now it's like, why don't you go say something to him? I don't want to go say nothing to him. I want him to come talk to me.
But I think it's also about the location as well, because you don't want nobody coming to you at a gas station, right?
Depends. What is he driving?
He drives something decent, not crazy. What's decent to you? I don't know.
I'm asking.
I'm not that big into cars. I'm not
either.
Let's say he's driving a Lexus, like a 2018 Lexus.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he's proper. He comes to you respectful.
Okay, yeah. I don't want no. Never mind.
Say it.
I was gonna say no hood rat, but
I mean that's what it is. It's out there,
and I live downtown, so there's quite a bit of that at the gas station.
Because I didn't seen. Us guys call it a parking lot pimping. I didn't seen, some go really well and some go really bad. Like I just seen some girls be like, no. And some girls actually be enamored by like, wow, this dude is actually going a different route.
Well, if this isn't allowed, you can edit this out. But I've been wanting to date white men lately.
What do you mean? Hold on. So anything's allowed. This is an open platform. So why do you want to date white men? I'm not even going to judge.
I want to try something different. But the reason I said I was going to ask if it was allowed, because the problem I have with white men is I'm scared I'm going to come across Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't have that fear with black men, even though I probably should.
I feel like there's more like black dudes who are kind of crazy than white guys. Because I feel like a lot of times when white guys mess with black women, it's almost like the black woman being a dominant role and the white man. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't be say he's in a like in like the. I'm gonna say the feminine role, but he kind of like, you know what? I'm cool being a cool white guy. Like I'm like I let my black girl do her thing. Okay. I be in the back kind of playing my role.
Well, see, the worst thing. Well, I know. Let me not say that because it could be worse. But in my head, I think that the worst thing I may have to do with a black man is throw hands. Jeffrey Dahmer will cut me up and put me in his fridge. So that's the part that concerns me with.
So you don't think there's no black Jeffrey Dahmers out there?
I'm sure there are, but in my mind, there's not. Okay.
So why white men? Why not Spanish men? Why not Asian men? Why that race in particular?
No Hispanics because. Sorry, Hispanic men, but a lot of y'all are very controlling.
She got actually reasons. Wow, okay.
A lot of y'all are very controlling, and y'all not finna tell me when I can and can't do something. That's number one. And then Asians, I'm just not attracted to them.
They be the flyest people in the world, though.
No thanks. And I also have this is what I imagine when I think of Asians.
hey, you never know, man. They might be Yao Minging it down there. You never know.
I imagine. So, no thanks.
But so you don't want this, but you want a pink dick. You want a pink dick.
Who cares what color it is?
I mean, some girls do.
I don't care.
Okay.
It can be pink.
But didn't you already date a white guy?
Yeah, but. You're right. I did date another good guy. Yeah.
That's what the guy was talking about earlier. That's what you walked yourself into that. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. I didn't like him.
But you didn't like him because I feel like he wasn't aggressive enough. Is that what you were saying before?
No, I didn't like him because he was the annoying little brother. That's how he acted.
You said you got mad because he wanted to cuddle you all 24/7. Some girls like that.
No. Okay. Let me tell you. He stayed with me during that major Texas ice storm. And I found out later that I have like an autoimmune disease. And the reason I kind of found out is because it makes my bones hurt really bad. And in the cold weather, it hurts really bad. So it was freezing then. My bones were like, I felt horrible. I could barely walk. And he thought it would be a good idea to like wrestle and pin me down. And I told him to leave me alone several times. And I had to get mad for him to stop. Annoying little brother syndrome. And then every 2 seconds, he'd be like, let me have a kiss. Can I have a kiss? Let me have a kiss. I don't need to kiss you every second. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating. Yeah. I couldn't be in the kitchen chopping vegetables without kissing him 30 times in that span.
But don't you want an affectionate man?
Not like that.
That's too much.
Too much.
Okay, so you want pretty much a happy medium. You want to
do. I need him to I don't want to be your whole life. I just want to be a big part of it.
No, that's real. Like, I agree with that because I feel like in my relationship, I don't want to be my woman's whole world. And I feel like with a lot of women I dealt with, it's almost like as soon as we start dating, it's like they want to be, me saying this like again, I hate that. But me dealing with women from the past, they always wanted to be around me 24/7. They wanted to stay over, hang out for 2 or 3 days. I'm just like, I don't have that.
Of that. I'm guilty of that. When it's somebody I like.
And mind you, and it's cool like the first day, but sometimes you gotta miss each other, especially in the beginning. It's like, all right, I feel like we're going a little bit too fast, too soon. And I always felt like with women, when you like something, you really gravitate. Let me take women out of it. I feel like with any person, if you really like somebody, you gravitate to it, but you also gotta let them learn to learn your love language or love style. Because I feel like a lot of times you can't just put it on somebody. You gotta let somebody warm up to it. Like you probably wouldn't care if he would have asked you for like a kiss like 4 times a day and maybe built up. But he just started off crazy, like 30 times in the hour. That's too much.
And don't ask me, just kiss me.
That's what I was also I was going to say, like, I think like he should have just took it. Like,
yeah, that's irritating. Can I have a kiss? No, don't remind me. But he was so nice too. I feel bad. I feel bad when they're really nice because I've been the person whose feelings are hurt. So I feel so bad when I feel like I'm hurting their feelings.
Okay. So let's keep going deep with that when it comes to dating. I had one of my friends give a question.
Okay.
My boy Law44 on IG. Shout out to you.
Is he single?
I'm gonna ask him. Sure. Law, if you single, comment on this video.
What you look like. I'm just playing.
Hey, we won't make sure it all works. But pretty much he was saying he wanted me to talk about why do women have a problem with guys working a normal 9 to 5.
I don't have a problem with that.
But
I know a lot of women do, but that's weird to me. I don't actually prefer you to work a 9 to 5 because that's guaranteed income. But you know what? I also like the corporate America guy, and I want us to both, because that's what I'm the corporate America woman, so I want the corporate America man. You don't have to have your own business. I couldn't care less about that. I mean, that's nice, but it's not. But I'm not the one to ask that question to because I like them.
But to keep going into this conversation, because you probably see you have friends, so that maybe you could talk on behalf of them or what they may speak of. But he's a UPS driver. Yeah. And he was just like, he said, I make decent money. He said, I got friends who are like nurses, mailmen, et cetera, et cetera. And it's almost like nowadays women are looking for that guy that makes 7 figures.
I don't know those type of women. I'm sorry. All my friends, men, because I'm probably the only single one, they all have regular 9 to 5 jobs. Now, some of them may be like director level and some of them may be entry level, but they all have a 9 to 5 job. Okay. So I don't know.
So could you date somebody that was, I wouldn't say a dreamer, but could you date somebody that didn't work a 9 to 5 but pretty much had like a like an acting job? Say he was actually a mid-level actor. He's getting good money.
Didn't I just tell you that man wanted to be an actor, and I told him absolutely not?
I'm saying, but you already met this guy. No. He already is like in the business, all of that. You can't mess with somebody like that?
No. Dreams don't pay bills.
Sometimes they do.
I almost said a bad word. No, I don't do dreams. I don't do dreams.
So you
I do direct deposits.
All right. I feel like that's kind of out there, because I feel like we all got our dreams. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have any dreams.
We were talking about that earlier.
My dream's to wake up 7 o'clock, get dressed, go to work, get a check on Fridays. That's my dream.
So you never had a dream your whole life?
Well, okay, this would be my other dream. I went 6 months without working, right? Best 6 months of my life. During that 6 months, I realized I'm not really built to work. So if I had a husband that was like, you can stay home, raise the kids, I may like that. But other than that, no, I don't see myself. I like going to work. Okay. I mean, if I had the option not to, I wouldn't, but I like going to work. I'm not, like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a lot of like skills that I can make money off of. I'm not trying to just stay home and build this empire and do this whatever. I'm gonna go to work.
You're not trying to make candles and shit like that?
I'm going to work.
Okay. Well, I think it's important for people to know themselves as well, because as he was saying, my boy Law was saying, he was like, everybody can't be a Fortune 500 person. Okay. He said you need workers. You need people that are going to deliver your mail. You need people that's going to be driving these trains. You need workers to make this whole world run.
I agree.
And I really appreciate that, because honestly, I kind of met a lot of women like you that they don't really care about what I do. And I kind of feel, I'm gonna say insecure, but I like the women I deal with, I feel like they all be on high levels. And I feel like if you don't match that level, it's almost like, can you really be a man in front of a woman?
Okay, well, I agree. I'm on to where I feel like a man should match me, but why do you think you don't? Why do you think that you do?
Because, like I said, so to get a little bit more deeper, the woman I mess with probably all make probably like twice or 3 times what I make. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They all are kind of like, hey, I'm going to be that businesswoman or that boss that's going to pretty much take over all these empires. And they the ones that have dreams and all. So you need
a regular person like me.
I wouldn't say that, but like the people I naturally are attracted are like that. Yeah. And the people who maybe I haven't met the middle ground yet, because I either meet women who are like very established or women who are like brand new to this world. I would say like 25, 26 type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
at 25 and 26, I was not brand new to this world. I bought my first house at 25, so I don't know those girls.
I took this girl out to brunch and she was like, "This is my first mimosa." I'm like, "What?" I said, "This your first mimosa?" I said, "You don't know how this is gonna feel afterwards, huh?" Well, anyway, that's another story. But it's funny to me because it's just like, you know, I don't want to like dumb myself down to that. And I kind of like the chase of like, all right, I want to get up to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you said you feel like black men have upper hand on black women. I don't really agree with that. I feel like nowadays in this age, I feel like black women are killing it.
Well, yeah, we are now, but I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say we have to work harder, because it's not necessarily true, but the world has always been rigged for men to succeed, you know? Not necessarily black men, like white men over black men, obviously, but still just being a man, you have the upper hand in the corporate environment, definitely. Corporate environments are always heavily, especially leadership is always heavily male.
You ever see that picture when it talks about like the corporate overhead where it'd be like, we want to talk about inclusion and diversity. And it's like, you know, probably like one mixed person out of the whole batch. Like nobody's black, Spanish, or anything like that.
That's how it was in my old company.
And it's crazy. It's crazy when you start really seeing like people at the top where you'd be like, yo, there's nobody that look like me.
That's how it was in my old company. Everybody was Caucasian, and the one non-Caucasian person, they got rid of him. So
So let's talk about work environment. Okay. Because you said you took off for 6 months because of mental reasons. And I feel like that's very pivotal, especially for people our age. Yeah. I didn't have situations where it was like my mental was like killing me and I stayed in it. Yeah. And I couldn't quit because I didn't want to be a quitter. I didn't want to be like, all right, I don't want to give them the gratification that they ran me off. And I used to hate that.
See, I felt the opposite way. For me, I knew they needed me more than I need them. And I knew the moment I quit, that ship was about to sink. And so I was like.
But you was there for like a lengthy period of time. I feel like your confidence grows when you're there for longer, you know?
I was in that job 10 years, but in that particular role, I was in that department 3 years. And then part of that 3 years, I got promoted to a senior position. But I knew when I left, it was going to sink for a little bit. And it did.
So can you kind of explain or put us in like your psyche during that time? Like, what was you going home with? Like, do you feel like the issue was coming from the guests, from your managers, from your coworkers? Like, can you kind of give us some more information?
It was a mix of all. So a little backstory, like in 2020, I had like 3 really big family deaths. I lost both my brothers and my grandfather within 6 months. And I mean, a job is a job, but I felt like I got no support from them. Like they were trying to, when my first brother died, they were trying to get me to work that weekend. No, you know, so, and then it kind of just never got better. They would kind of throw a little shade after, like I could feel like, not my direct boss. The direct boss I had, she was amazing, but her boss was trash and everybody else was trash. And so finally, my boss had got a different job. I got a new boss and it was my first meeting with her and she started on that bullshit. Oh, sorry, I don't cuss. She started
yes, you do.
doing bad things. She was just saying a bunch of bull crap and I just wasn't down for it. So in the middle of my one-on-one, I just said, you know what? This is my notice. I quit and I hung up on her. And then I sent an email to her and her boss and was like, my last day will be XYZ day. So that's how it happened.
And to me, I feel like you was a good worker. And I feel like it gets to the point where you shouldn't have to end on that note when you put so many years into a company like that.
And it was to the point that the thought of, for one, we have been working from home since 2020. And they just started going back to work at the beginning of this year. For one, the thought of having to go into the office and communicate with those people literally made me ill. I would have panic attacks every time I would get an email. I would cry having to wake up in the morning. I would sleep so much because I was so depressed. I just had to get out of there. And literally the moment I quit, it was just like, oh, I feel great now. I was never concerned about how bills were going to get paid. I just worked it out. Fortunately, I had savings. I had some other money I could pull. And then being the person that I am, I applied for unemployment because there were some things outside of there was more into it about like how I was being treated there and stuff that led up to me quitting. And I got it approved even though I quit. So that helped too. I mean, it's not much, but I mean, it paid my rent.
So yeah. And I think it took you time. It gave you time to regroup.
I was off for 6 months. That was my only income, that and my money that I had sitting aside for the other bills and stuff. But
so can you tell me,
6 months off.
Can you tell me the phases of the 6 months of like your feeling? Like, did you have like any time where you was like depressed during that time period? Like, am I going to find a better job? Or was you just relieved that you finally had some like clarity of mind?
I was relieved. I wouldn't say that I was ever stressed. There was a period where like when everybody started losing their jobs and it was getting very hard, especially in my field. I work in HR. So those tech companies got hit, but a lot of those tech people that got hit were recruiters, HR partners and stuff. So it was kind of hard to find jobs in my field. So that, I wouldn't say it depressed me. It scared me a little bit. But one thing about me is I always had backup. So even whenever, not recently, but like a few years back, I always did like Uber Eats on the side, Grubhub, like, cause I was like, if I don't get a job, my bills will get paid. I wasn't really concerned about that. But yeah, that was the only thing that kind of had me scared for a little bit, was when everybody started getting laid off.
Where do you think you got that hustler mentality from?
Definitely my mom. My mom for sure. I've seen her work like 3 jobs to take care of stuff. So she used to go, she got this one job I remember where she used to go knock on doors, and Encore had this program, like the electric company Encore had this program where they would weatherize your house. My mom would literally knock on people's doors and say, hey, have you got your house weatherized? Let me get you signed up. And she would get paid commission from all those houses she signed up. Yeah, she's like, right now, my mom, now she's doing like home health, but before that she was just selling paparazzi and like teaching English online. She quit her job and was just doing that. My mom always has something going on,
I'm gonna take this moment to give my flowers to my sisters because they received a gene I just don't have. Like,
which is what?
They are the real hustle. Like, I feel like I can hustle if I want to, but I don't have that natural drive to hustle. Like, hey, like you said, I will go do Uber Eats.
Yeah, I mean, if it's that or go sleep on outside, absolutely.
I mean, I'm the type of person I would just be on a struggle bus at my job until I find something better. But like for me doing Uber Eats, I never want to actually actively do that. But I have siblings, like my sister Alyssa, she's the oldest one. She is a teacher. She is a part of so many like student programs. She's like in charge of her sorority chapter for Morgan State University. I call her every night and she's like literally picking up the kids. All right, I gotta go to my chapter meeting. All right, I gotta do this lesson plan. All right, I got this event I'm doing this weekend. I'm like, yo, where do you find the time? And you have 2 kids and a husband. And I'm literally a single dude. Like, literally, I get off of work, I'm just like,
I agree with you though.
I get on my couch. I be tired. And my sister Ashley, she slowed up now because she's pregnant now. But before, she would have a job, a servant job, a side hustle, and she would just be getting it because she was about her paper. Yeah. And I was just like, yo, like, when you get time to rest? And she was like, I'm fine. And I'm just like, I don't have that to be working 2 or 3 jobs.
I'm like you though. It does wear me after a while. Like right now I have a second job. I started it last year. It's so easy. That's why I haven't quit yet. I started in April of last year, but I'm like you. I get tired and I don't want to work. So I feel like I'm not coming today.
It's like as soon as I get off, I'll be tired. Now with this whole podcast thing, like I get off, I might do 4 or 5 hours on doing my podcast, and I'm really done. It's funny, my sister be calling me like at 8:30 trying to FaceTime. I'll be asleep. She be like, "What are you doing sleep for?" And like she's like,
"Because I can."
And she getting out of her like class and like get like going home. I'm just like, yo, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm like just done up. But to me, I am so. I'm so appreciative of them because it shows me like it's possible.
It is.
Like, so when I do have to get on my grind mode, I use them as motivation because they worked for so many years.
Right.
And let me not forget my mother. Like my mother, she was a nurse for 40 years doing 12-hour shifts.
They have some crazy hours.
Crazy, working overnight. And it's just like the stuff she was doing and the people that she was dealing with different mental illnesses.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So me seeing her just get up every night at 7:00 and getting back home at 7 or getting back home at 9 after she go to the grocery store to get us food, I was just like, wow, like women are. That's always had like a positive outlook on black women when it comes to working. You know, I never seen a lazy black. That's why for me, maybe black men may make more than black women, but in my world, black women are killing it. Yeah, more than the black men.
Definitely in this generation, black women are definitely doing really well. I mean, like our mothers, you know, we saw them work hard too, but
y'all have the opportunity to showcase it
for sure.
Yeah, I feel like back then they was doing it, but now y'all have the opportunity to showcase it, and it's at a point now where your voice does matter.
And we're really just, if you think about generations, so, you know, when think back to our grandparents, it was the men who went to work, right? Women weren't necessarily allowed to have jobs, or they didn't do that. Then they started being able to work, but it took like building it up, right? So then our moms were in that generation where, they're working, but they're not really getting paid that well. And now we're in that generation where it's still not equal, but we're kind of getting a little bit closer to it, you know? So I think as the generations keep going, it's just going to get better and better.
Would you be okay if your man was working was a stay-at-home dad?
Traven, you know me. You know the answer to your own question, and that is absolutely not. If anybody's staying home, it's gonna be me.
After I see Rihanna, ASAP Rocky, I don't know. I feel like ASAP Rocky gonna be babysitting the whole time. I think he gonna let his lady be the queen she is.
If anyone is staying home, it's going to be me. I need my man to have a job.
Okay.
It's for me, I don't know. I hate to say this, but I kind of lose respect for a man if I'm the only one taking care of everything.
That's what I think.
I lose respect for him.
I think that's the biggest thing. But I also feel like sometimes women give too much respect to men if they pay for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, he ain't gonna pay for everything. I'm gonna always still have a little something because you're not about to leave me with all these kids and all these bills. No, I'm gonna still be taken care of. But you know what this reminded me of? You remember earlier when you said I did have a lot of good men that I was like, no, yeah, there was another one like that.
I know you had a lot of good men. That's why I'm just like,
and he's getting married now. I couldn't care less. Congratulations to you, but
you care low key.
I don't at all. But I lost respect for him because you know why I lost respect for him?
Why?
Okay, so one time we went to Whataburger and I was trying to pay for my food in cash, and he said, well, I didn't know you were gonna pay cash. I only have card. What that got to do with me and paying for my food? So really what you were telling me was that you didn't have no money. So then I had to pay for it. So then I was like, oh, I had to pay for Whataburger.
Why don't he just use his card?
I don't know. I don't think he had the money on his card. So that's when I lost respect for him. But he was a good guy. Like, he's going to probably be a good husband to her. He couldn't be my husband.
If he was open to you? What if he, like, beforehand, he was just like, hey, right now I'm in a hard space, but I'm working towards gaining more, getting more. If you are understanding and will still date me, would that be okay? Would you have been more understanding if he was more for? Okay.
Want to know why? Okay. Same thing with that other guy I was talking about earlier, the Valentine's Day guy. They're both from the country, and that's fine. But
you from the country?
Yes, but even though I was born there, I grew up here, so I didn't live there that long. You know, I don't remember living there.
So Texas not country still? I mean,
it is, but it's not the same as from being like from Mississippi or Arkansas.
I know not the same. I know exactly what you mean.
The economy is different. So the reason I say that is because they get here and they think they're making just all this money because compared to where they're from, they're making all this money. But in Dallas, y'all ain't making all this money. Like, so for me, it was kind of like, I don't think they were aspiring to do better because they thought they were doing great. When really it was like, it's a little bit below average.
And I feel like at this age, we're not supposed to settle at all. Like, we're supposed to.
I've been single this long. I ain't settling at this point. I'd rather be by myself. And I don't care. Whenever
You would settle for a wrong nigga. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't. Let me say this. Every time I have this conversation, people will be like, oh, you're such a gold digger. No, I'm not a gold digger. I want to be secure. Like I said, I still go to work. It's not like I'm saying, oh, I want my man to be rich. He got to have all this money and take care of me. No. I just want to make sure that the stuff that I had to see when I was a kid doesn't happen for my kids. Like, I want to be able to take my kids on vacation. I don't want my kids to ever come home and there not be any lights or water. I don't want to have to keep moving my kids. So that's why I'm the way that I am. It's not about you having to be rich. None of that. But I also know in this economy, we have to make a certain income to be stable. So let me clear that up because everybody want to say that I'm a gold digger. I'm not. He ain't got everybody me nothing.
Nobody called you a gold digger.
But every time I've had this conversation, like period, everybody wants to say I'm a gold digger because I want a man to make X, Y, and Z.
I don't know. I feel like now I'm at the age where I'm beyond that conversation because you just have a standard, and I feel like you shouldn't compromise your standard at all. I feel like with any woman I talk to, I say, hey, let men know what you want and don't bend on it. Because if you do, then anybody, not even men, anybody will walk over you. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
So I agree with you on that. I just feel like it's important just for it to be known in the beginning so a guy will know what he's getting into. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. I feel like we don't really ask the right questions when we starting off dating. I feel like we ask the generic ones like, what you like to eat? It's bullshit like that. But you don't really ask people like real questions that really going to matter throughout. Because like my whole thing is how you want to raise your kids.
Right.
That's a very important question. Do you want to like is church important to you?
Right.
All these things are very important because once you get past the whole sexual feelings and like meetups, you want to have to find other things that make that relationship grow. You gotta dig deeper.
I agree with you. I think I'm very bad about that. I said that I need to really sit down and make a list of like what's really important to me, because in the past I never asked the questions. I just think, okay, well, I'll learn about this person over time. But I think it would be better if I asked the questions up front, because if I don't like the answers within the first week, then I'm not going to waste my time and get attached to this person and all of that stuff. Versus like me just waiting to see what happens. And then in our heads, we build up. I think the problem with us, a lot of us women, is in our heads, we get attached to what we think they are. And if I was better about asking the questions up front, I wouldn't allow myself time to do that.
And I think that's why girls get attached to me so fast. I feel like they fall in love with, the potential. Where it's just like, do you even know me for real? Like, I feel like that's like my issue a lot of time where I can kind of see, or I kind of notice when a woman is looking like more so in the future than me right now. I'm like, I need to be loved right now. Like, I want you to love this Traven before you love the Traven when I'm 35 and 40, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, for me, it's not even about the potential as women. Well, let me not speak about other women. For me, I know I want a husband. I want a father for my kids. Like, I want the traditional life, right? But because I'm not asking the questions up front, I don't know, like you said, how he's going to want to raise his kids, you know? And then stuff comes up and then we have arguments about, that's kind of what happened in my last situationship. We kind of had a disagreement about how we both felt like we should raise a family. And it ended. But had I had that conversation with him up front, I would have never started liking him, getting attached to him. I built up in my head what I thought it was going to be without actually figuring out what it was, if that makes sense.
Or you could have just put him in the right category. Like, hey, like, he's okay for this for right now.
No, I don't want that. I'm to the point in my life that you have to keep in mind I'm 30 now, okay? So I only have like
we got to stop acting like, honestly, you know what?
I only have a good 4 years of eggs left, okay?
All right, so I'm talking for me. I used to be the person who used to be like, yo, 30's old. I will make fun of all my friends who turn 30. But honestly, I think 30 is going to be some of our best years.
I don't think I'm old. Well, I jokingly say all the time I'm old when I say that I'm not being serious. But I am not ignorant to the fact that I have a biological time clock as a woman. There's only a certain amount of time that I'm going to be able to, pop these kids out before it becomes like high risk or potentially something wrong with my kid. I mean, that could still happen now, but it's a higher risk. Yes, So that's the only thing. It's not that I don't feel old. I actually don't feel different. Turning 30 didn't hurt at all.
Honestly, I feel like I haven't like aged since 27, to be honest. Like I feel like 27, I still feel 27. I'm about to be 30 in March 7th, but
I don't feel like an adult. I still feel like I'm a good 6. I don't think I ever really matured.
I think this year I started finally feeling like an adult. I'm still very childish, but like,
me too.
I feel like I finally got to the point where it's just like, all right, Traven, let's be mature about this. So I can feel myself becoming more mature, and it's kind of funny to me because it's just like, damn, like I'm really an adult. Like I feel like before I was just like, man, I'm not really an adult.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, no, I'm an adult. Like I got to get this shit done. I got to know this. I have to be informed on these topics. Like it's to the point where it's like, I want more for myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're younger in your 20s, you just feel like you have all the time just to get, well, for me, I feel like I had all the time just to get it later on.
Yeah.
Where now it's just like, you know what, my 20s just flew by.
It did. It did.
So I'm trying to make the most of my 30s.
Like I think back, so I was, as I mentioned, I was at my last job 10 years. I started there at 19 and I left at 29. That I remember when I started working, I used to be the young one.
Would you recommend that real quick? Would you recommend that for somebody to be at a place for 10 years? Starting off out of high school?
It depends. You know, I know there's a lot of job hopping. It just depends on the person. I know right now there's a lot of job hopping for different promotions and yada, yada, yada. But from someone on an HR perspective, we don't like to see that on your resume, by the way. So it doesn't look good that you job hop, by the way. So it really just depends on the person. I don't plan on leaving my new job anytime soon.
You brought up an interesting topic on that. But does that really constitute towards today now? Like, I feel like nowadays everybody's job hopping. Like, I feel like there's nobody loyal to one job. And the reason I say that is because I'm in management.
Yeah.
And these kids, not even kids, like people in their 30s and 40s, they ain't staying around if a job ain't for them no more. So they're they're leaving, not even putting 2 weeks notice. They're like, you know, in 2 days, like I'll just take my last day, or 3 days from now, that's my last day. I'm gonna come in, and they're still scheduled.
I agree, but you're not the norm. Most of the people in management are boomers. Keep that in mind, right? So when these boomers are looking at your resume, I've had a couple people when I was in my job hunt that said, "Ooh, I love that you were at your company 10 years. I see everybody jumping ship all the time." If a manager has to choose between somebody that they see always jumping ship and someone that they see as stable, they're going to pick the stable person. Because y'all have to keep in mind how hard it is to train. Before I was in HR, I was a corporate trainer. It takes time to invest in you, to train you, and to get you up to speed in your job. They're not going to want to have to do this again in a year or two. So, I mean, again, I guess it really depends on what you do, the person, and I mean, either way, I guess, is a risk, because if you stay in your job for 10 years, you're risking not necessarily getting the raises and promotions you want, you know, because they always pay the entry level person better. But then again, it doesn't always look good on your resume for you to be job hopping. And no disrespect to you. I think the people that are around for 10 years are low key like people that are okay with slavery. Like, he's right about that. You are right about that. You're right. You know, I meant to say this earlier when you were talking about you would rather stay at your job before like quitting and not having a job. If I never would have quit my job, I would still be there, because I would apply for other jobs, but then they would always want to offer me a little bit less, because I was in a senior role there. And it was hard to find something equivalent. So I would apply for jobs. They would want to offer me a little bit less. And I'd be like, no, I'm good. Or I would angry apply for jobs when I was mad. And then I would get over it and take my application out. Yeah. But when I quit, that put the fire under me. Like, okay, now you have to have a job, you know? So you're right. If I never would have just walked out, I would still be working there. Maybe I would have found another job internally, but I would still be with that company, no doubt.
And the only reason I say that, because I haven't been at a job for like 10 years, but when I was in the food and beverage industry, when working at a casino, I was there for 3 years. I knew like in like year 2, I didn't want to do that shit no more. But I stayed with it because I was like, yo, I went to school for this. Like, this is like what grown-ups are supposed to do. I'm supposed to be in it for the long haul, not knowing like this thing's driving me crazy. And then one day I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm moving to Texas. Everybody say you moving to Texas. I'm like,
so that's why you did that?
Yeah, like one day, like I was so fed up with my job. I was like, you know, it was between Texas, it was between Raleigh, North Carolina, because you know, of course, I was Googling the best places for Black people. Yeah. So
and they told you Dallas?
No, they said Texas. It was like Austin, Texas, but I knew Lewis and them down here. Yeah. So okay. So I was like, all right, I know some people down there. I'll move out there. So I was just like, you know what? This is my leap. This is my leap of faith. I said I was going to leave food and beverage and go into hotels, because I was still saying I'm gonna try to make sure this diploma. Neighbors. Yeah.
I got scared for a second. I was like, what is that? Sorry.
You know we in the hood. But you know, I said I want to make sure that this diploma is used correctly. Mm-hmm. I said I don't want to. I said I didn't want to have to put my body on the line for 5 years playing football, and I just leave my field that fast. So I went to hotels. First year, I already knew I ain't like it. I was like, you know what? This is the first year. Let me not be a quitter.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 or 6 years later, and I'm still kind of like in hospitality. And mind you, like I said, like I'm at a point now where I'm in property management. It's not all bad, but I wish I would have talked to the younger Traven and be like, yo, take a risk. Take more risk.
But Traven, what I was going to say about you though, you didn't just stay in the same position. You moved up. You're in management now. You're not entry level. So yeah, you may have moved around, but you did it for promotion. Some people are just moving around just because. You did it to grow in your career.
That's true, but like I have friends who do hop around and like making way more money than me, but like taking opportunities. And for me, I'm just like, damn, like I'm on this side of the mountain, scared to jump to that other mountain. I said like, well, what if I did jump like my friends did? And it's okay, like I could keep climbing the same mountain, but maybe this mountain not meant for me.
Yeah, no, I kind of get that because I'm kind of I was gonna say I'm kind of scared to jump, but technically I did just recently jump. But I get what you're saying. I don't know. This generation is different. Job hopping is, I can't think of the word. It's something that it's becoming a thing that people are doing. So I don't know.
It's more common, you know?
And I think another reason for me though, Traven, that I didn't leave for a long time is you have to keep in mind, I don't have a degree. I went straight from from high school to that job. And so I got all my experience there. I started out in customer service and I left a senior HR analyst. You know,
I'll be thinking like, do my degree even fucking matter? Like, literally, I put resumes out, but honestly, I've been getting more. I raised levels more through word of mouth, more through people saying like, you know what, I seen this kid busting his ass. I know he's loyal. I know he's going to be here for us. Come on my team. Yeah, and that's how I moved up because I impressed other people outside of my bosses at the time. Sure. Absolutely. And they were just like, you know what, we see the environment you in. Let me bring you over here. And like I said,
that's what helped me in my last job is it was networking. Like I said, I had none of my jobs there had any experience. And I started in customer service. I was in a billing analyst. I worked in learning and development. I worked in human resources. None of those have anything to do with each other, but it was always networking and finding someone that was willing to take a risk on me. And it worked out because now I'm 10 years into my career and I didn't have to start. I had to take a little bit of a decrease because I didn't get a senior position, but I didn't have to start over at the beginning. Like I'm still in human resources doing better work that's gonna, that's gonna look good on my resume. And I mean, it worked out.
Cool. So last topic.
We skipped a whole lot of topics.
No, we actually went through everything besides the swinger party
and the Astro Boots.
Oh. All right. Before we get to this other topic, so have you seen these Astro Boy Boots? Those red boots?
They look horrible. If I ever see anybody walking in those, I'm reaching for the nearest gallon of bleach and pouring it on you.
That's crazy. But if you're not, if you're not a celebrity, man, you should not be rocking those things.
A celebrity shouldn't wear them. They look hideous.
I seen Cola wear them. She looked pretty good with them. I mean, she can swag it out. There's certain people who can swag it out. But if you're a normal Joe, don't waste your money. It was what I get so pissed off on.
How much are they?
I don't even know. I haven't really did my research because I'm so pissed off. I'm a Google.
Oh, I can't see his phone. Okay.
Yeah, shit. I don't know what's on my phone. Shit, you might be like, what the fuck is this? These things are $350. $350. Hell no. And you know what's so pissed me off? You know what pissed me off so much about things like this? Is that, and mind you, I'm talking about it now, but I ain't like share it. But we will make something like this so popular so fast. But we won't make our friends' business popular.
That's
true. We won't do that for our friends though.
That's true.
People we know. But because this thing looks dumb and it can get views off you wearing it, we just gonna give these random people all this promotion and $350 a piece for some bullshit.
Well, you know what? I used to feel the same way about Uggs, and then here I am. So it'll grow on.
But that's not $350 though.
They're pretty pricey.
But they don't look ridiculous.
They used to look ridiculous to everyone. We used to always in Crocs. We hated Crocs for which Crocs aren't $350. But all of that stuff, I mean,
I think the older you get, the more you just get cool being comfortable. Like
exactly.
if it's comfortable, I'm okay. Like,
exactly.
I don't mind if it's like not the top name brand if it's more comfortable.
Well, them red boots may be comfortable.
Fuck that.
Maybe walking on clouds.
I literally saw a black dude with them on, and he needed somebody to cut him off because he couldn't get him off his feet. Like it was stuck on his feet. He was like, "Get him off, get him off." So somebody had to come through with some scissors and take him off.
$350 boots.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like I don't need no poor circulations down there. I'm all right with it. All right, so you want to go through all the topics, swinger parties.
I don't know what we're talking about because I ain't doing that.
Why wouldn't you do it? So if you was married and your husband brought it up to you wouldn't think about it?
Never. I don't believe in bringing other people into your bedroom. Okay,
I respect that. I'll go on a little story then.
Mm-hmm. So, you done it?
No. So with my, I would consider it if my wife was down. I would consider it.
It's because you're a man.
Maybe. But let's get back to the story time. So pretty much with my new position now, I'm able to talk to new people. So I got an old head at my job.
I know where this is going.
No, I got an old head at my job who is a DJ.
Okay.
And we usually be chopping it up sometimes. He be telling me like his old stories from back in the heyday from like Freak Nick when he used to hang out with Biggie. I don't know whether these stories are true or not, but he's telling me these stories, right? I'm
like he been watching BMF documentaries.
He old school, so he may have some validity to it.
Okay.
But he was just telling me, I remember we were just sitting one day and like a lady walked by and he was just like, yeah, she's the type of person to be in a swinger party. Well, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm young. I'm like, what do you mean swinger party? He was like,
you didn't know what that was?
I knew what it was, but my thing is like, he just said it randomly. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you just brought up out of nowhere. Like, I said, do you go to swinger parties? He was like, nah, I don't go to one, but he said, I DJ them. I said, how you start DJing swinger parties? He said, well, one of my homeboys is a promoter and he had like a venue and one of his DJs canceled one night. And he asked, he like, hey, can you come through and DJ? I'll pay you $250 for like 2 hours. I need you to help like bring the other DJ in. So that he was like, all right, cool. I make a quick $250 is my homeboy. He said, I pull up on the scene and he was like, I'm setting up and I'm seeing like everybody like in lingerie. So he was like, yo, what is this? And he was like, oh, this is a swinger party. He was like, this is very popular, like out in this area.
What area is this?
Dallas. It's downtown Dallas too.
I don't see those people.
I think we're younger though, but like he was saying, it's more like 35, like upper echelon people. Yeah. He says the people that you'll see at your work who you think is like shy and quiet. They be the ones that be the real freaks. And he was like, yeah, she'll be in the swinger party. He'll be in the swinger party. It's be like the most randomest people that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And I was like, so did they just be like fucking these swinger parties? And he was like, well, they're different kind. He was like, well, he said there's one type of swinger party where it's like everybody just dress up sexy and you just pretty much be very flirtatious. And he was like, there's other ones where you're just like strictly just sex everywhere. But he was just like, it's more common than you think of it. I'm like, have you been to one? He was like, yeah, me and my lady go a few times. He said, I mostly just DJ. And I'm just like, damn, like this dude like in like close to being 50. I want to know when you're in relationships or when you get older, do you want to like venture out to get more excitement? You know what I'm saying?
I hope I never do. But it's funny you say that. I probably shouldn't be telling this story, but I don't care. There was a guy in my old job that I know went to one. He was like a high executive level position. Maybe I shouldn't say this because, well, I'm not saying no names. He was like a high executive level position. He asked one of the HR partners if it would be okay if he did this. And he sent them the link. And this person didn't know. So she opened it up at work and she was like trying to cover her screen.
Why would he send that? Like, what's wrong with that?
He wanted her to know, like, ask if it was okay for him to do that being at the level that he was. And she was like, first off, what you do in your personal life, we don't care about.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how old was this?
Just don't
bring it to work.
Bring it to work and don't bring work into that,
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's what I said. Like, I kind of feel like I'm a square. The reason I said I may do it, because I feel like I'm kind of like, what's it called? Vanilla. They're very, very plain. That's what they say. And I'm getting to the age where it's just like, I ain't gonna lie, y'all women are getting way more advanced with a lot of things that y'all want. So to me, it's just like, why not be adventurous? Like, try it out one time, not be a regular.
Woman. Well, I'm very vanilla. I'm not that woman. Don't ever.
I mean,
I'm not into it.
Maybe not that, but I don't think you very vanilla though.
Traven don't know me like you think he do.
All right, I'm not gonna get too deep with it. So next topic. This is gonna be the last topic.
Okay.
So my homegirl Sierra, she asked this question. Mm-hmm. She was just like, why do us as a black community always have to colorize ourselves? Like,
yeah,
I didn't have a situation where brown skin girls say I'm light skin. I'm like, yo, you're brown skin.
Yeah.
In regards to the fact you're black.
I get that all the time too, and I'm definitely not light skin. I'm very brown, chocolate, proud of being it. But I get that all the time, like, oh, you're light skin. No, I'm not. I'm not in the least.
And I don't like how, like, no offense to light skin people, I don't like how that's the default. It's like, it makes you more prettier.
Exactly. But you know why? It's a slave mentality still. That's where it comes from, slavery. You know, because back in the day, if you were light skin, you were half white. You were considered pretty. You had the pretty hair, the pretty eyes, all that bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry, that bull crap.
She's trying to be innocent on here, but no, I agree. And to me, I never liked it. I just say black overall because I feel like all shades are beautiful.
I agree.
Like I don't have like, oh, I just like light skin girl. I like brown skin. I like all, and I think the most beautiful ones be like the chocolate ones.
I
to be honest.
I agree. I will not date no man that's not chocolate. Well, that's a lie because I said I would date white men too. White chocolate and dark chocolate.
Oh my goodness. Anyway.
No in between. I don't want no milky.
Oh my goodness. All right. So back to it, and it's just, and to me, it's like I never seen any other racist talks like say like, hey, I'm light skinned Asian or a white person be like, I'm
actually,
pink.
That's not true because like think about it, like Mexicans. If you're a dark Mexican, they don't like that. And Asians too. If you're a darker Asian, that's not true. That is, other races do that. Just white people don't do that.
I never really thought of it.
Yeah.
But do you feel like it's more so hate because they feel like maybe they know that you cross your genes with a black person somewhere down the line?
That's absolutely why. Absolutely why.
That's crazy, yeah. It's funny because I feel like black people, quiet as it kept, I feel like overall we're the most unproblematic people.
We are. And where life comes from. You know, everybody thinks, oh, Jesus was white, or even the first man on earth the first man and woman on earth was white. They weren't. Think about where they were in this earth. Well, we don't really know where Adam and Eve were, but it just doesn't make sense that they would be. But Jesus definitely was not a white man.
Exactly.
Jesus was a Jew.
I just wish that we just...
Wasn't he? He was a Jew, right? Jesus was Jewish.
Yes, he was Jewish.
And Jewish people are brown for the most part. Not these modern day Jewish people, but
the
Jewish
real Jews.
Talking
about the real Jews. All right, Kanye, you about to go real? You about to get real on them?
Don't ever compare me to Kanye because I already have my own mental health issues, but they ain't like that. I recognize mine.
All right, not too much on Kanye.
I recognize my mental health issues.
Not too much on Kanye.
But yeah, Jesus was definitely not white.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on the episode. Is there anything you want to share with the audience? Any like messages? Any food for thoughts, gems along the way?
No.
One thing we was talking about before we go is how was it transitioning to the new job? Like, was it easy? Was it a hard transition?
So the getting back into a routine was hard. That was hard. But my boss is awesome. Like, she made it so easy. I literally love her. We talk all the time. I talk to her on the way here. She's great.
That'd be the best ones, man. My boy Michael Colvin, man. He was my previous boss. We still talk all the time now. After we're like, I never liked one of my bosses before I met this dude. Like, we was at work, and that was the first time I could ever talk to my boss freely, where I didn't feel like, oh, I have to say the politically correct thing. But me and him, we really like grew a friendship. Yeah, and I appreciate it. And like literally, like he gave me so many different job opportunities. And I appreciate what he taught me. So I definitely know what it means when you get like a boss who actually like be bossing. A boss that be bossing. And
you know what? I will say I've been very fortunate in my career that I've had a lot of bosses that I've made friendships with. Now I have some that if I see them in the street, I'll drop kick them. But my new boss, I love her so much right now. Like I'm about to be 3 weeks in, and she's been great from even interview, you know. So
that's dope. Well, it's your boy, TravTheRealist from Real Ass Conversations, episode number 50. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Remember, I'm trying to grow this podcast. If you're in the DFW area, I would love to work with you, love to connect. If you have anything you want to promote, let me know because I would love to help you out, and vice versa. Remember to always keep it real, especially with yourself. Peace.
Bye.